After a very disappointing year, this is the off season. You look at the season awards. Chris Young, if you saw it, won MVP Offensive Player of the Year, and it also doesn't show that he won Comeback Player of the Year. Jesse Strain for the Sailors won Defensive Player of the Year. The rushing title goes to Strauss with 1,800 rushing yards. The passing title goes to Connor Grimm, who had a good O-line and was amazing at passing the ball, one of the best offenses in the league. Receiving goes to Ed Council, of course, the best wide receiver in the league. Sack title goes to Rashad Gevin. It's crazy. And then here's just the stats in general. Patrick Anderson had the best rating, and I think one of the best percentages as well. Patrick Anderson was insane. Now, sadly, our team did not do well. The hangover from winning the championship the year before really hurt us. Look at Chris Young with a good percentage, low interceptions, high touchdowns, and he probably has a high amount of rushing yards as well. But here's the interesting thing. Rumor is that he's going to become a free agent this offseason. And look, O'Connell, the worst quarterback in the league. He had a lot of touchdowns and a lot of interceptions. Houston Witt is right before Strauss. Witt almost could have won it as well. And Strauss with 1,822 yards. This has been a crazy season. We started off hot, like absolutely on fire. And ever since, we have gone worse and worse and kept losing and kept losing. The Wolves team really needs something to go on as well. Montana Young is kind of on the hot seat here because he won a championship and he said he was going to try to repeat and made all these changes and they did not work out well. Luckily, he has an amazing draft class coming out this season and he has an amazing free agent class as well. So let's see exactly what can happen to this team. And currently we're looking at defense here. And there's some big names like Garrison and Overstreet. Overstreet destroyed this past season. And Gerwin had a good season for the Wolves, but he has been very underwhelming, sadly. It looks like his age might be starting to get to him. He's still elite. He's still amazing. He still makes great plays, but he's no longer the most amazing DB in the league. Now, O'Connell had 20 touchdowns and 28 interceptions. Oh my goodness, that's worse than any of Houston Witt's season, or not Houston Witt, sorry, Neve Watt's seasons. That I can remember. He at the beginning of the year was really great and then fell off. McWilliams had over 1,000 yards. Clark had 700, and I was wrong last game. O'Connell had close over 500 yards rushing, which is good though. He did well. He did better than what Neve Watts usually did, rushing-wise. But Neve Watts also routinely ran at the wrong time. Ingram had a slightly down season with less than 1,000 yards receiving, and he led the season in drops. Now, Denny Parr is probably the best middle linebacker in the league behind Jesse Strain. He's definitely going to be going up to a gold star next season. Also, I want to say it is true, Bustamante is retiring. But we're going to see how these playoffs worked out, and we're going to see exactly what this Wolves team can do for the offseason. Let's jump into it. Okay, so here's the playoffs here. The Cavalry beat the Warhawks, the Stallions beat the Metal, and the Guardians beat the Griffins, which is insane. So it's going to be the Guardians versus the Violence, the Cavalry versus the Stallions. Two amazing offenses going against each other, and two balanced teams going against each other in the Guardians and the Violence. This playoff picture looks insane, especially because the Gladiators missed the playoffs, which is insane. They have a super high-powered offense as well. But yeah, we did lose the first week of the playoffs. That is really sad. But let's see what can happen whenever these teams face each other in the second round. And here we go. Violence versus Guardians, Stallions versus Cavalry. And look at that. The Guardians barely eke out the Violence. 21-17. Kyle Weeman is going to a championship game for one of the first times in his career. And the Cavalry also barely sneak out a win against the Stallions. A back and forth slobber knocker, 24-21. So the championship game is the Guardians versus the Cavalry, and the Cavalry destroy the Guardians. The Cavalry win their first championship. This is one of the first teams in this series that have gone from one of the worst teams to one of the best teams. And let's look at the awards. Oliver Strauss wins MVP of the playoffs. Offensive Player of the Year, or of the playoffs, goes to Strauss as well. And Terry gets Defensive Player of the playoffs as well. And then Grimm just adds more yards to his title, and Strauss earns more yards for his title. Grimm was insane. Absolutely insane. But he went from being a very scared quarterback who was a pocket quarterback who had no offensive line. He led the league in being sacked for 3 years in a row, I believe. And this year he's come out after they pick an amazing tackle prospect. And this team is stellar. With Strauss, with Connor Grimm, with their receivers, this offense is proven to be the way the league is going, where it's high-powered offenses with defenses that can just barely hang in there. And somehow the Cavalry win. What can the Wolves do in the offseason? What can these teams do in this offseason to show that they can compete with these teams? Because this is insane. Just for the straight-up fact that, the Bullheads have an amazing offense. There's a lot of teams that have an amazing offense, and their defenses aren't great, but they aren't stepping up. What can these teams do here? Again, it's insane. The Wolves had a good record, and somehow they missed the championship game. And here we go. So the Wolves make a big signing in free agency. They sign Chris Young, the comeback player of the year, the MVP of the regular season, one of the best players in this league. I can't believe that the Wolves got him. That's absolutely insane. And the Blackbirds, they select Kerry King Javo as the first pick of the draft. He is an amazing, tall CB. He's insane. He's not that fast. I would say he's more of a Richard Sherman. Not super fast, but man, is he tall, lengthy, and can really stop one side of the field from being used. Yeah, but look at this Wolves defense here. They have an amazing defense. As you see, Bustamante did retire. They lost Jonathan O'Connell in free agency, and they pick up Chris Young. And then they also receive Clintrix King from the Discord chat. He's picked number 2 overall since the Wolves traded up. And he's an amazing receiver. I would say he's a slower Julio Jones. He's great. He's going to be a future of this offense. This team needed a receiver because Teddy Moon needs to be put back in the slot. And also Holloway retired, and Trout needed to be the 4th receiver. Now the Giants, they select Audric Normandy, an amazing tackle prospect out of Arizona State. He's already a gold player. He's going to make this Giants O-line even better. I'm excited to see how this team plays, even though they've lost a lot, or going to lose probably a lot of people soon. Next are the Sailors. They select D-tackle Dyson Messick. He is a strong but small D-tackle who uses his leverage against the line to really make any type of moves. But he is amazing. At 6'1", almost 300 pounds. It's a big get for the Sailors since their quarterback isn't doing as well and they really need a better D-line. Next are the Crusaders, and they lost Geiger to free agency. So, they pick up Quarterback, Rashawn Derricks, again from the Discord. If you want to put a player into the draft, put him down below. Put their name, their date, or not their date, sorry, their name, their position, their number, and just tell me like what type of player they are. And put that in the comments down below, please. It'll help me out for the next draft and drafts to continue. I want to get you guys into this, more guys into this franchise. Now the Hawks select. They have a really bad team as well. They select linebacker Adal Tudor. He was great in college. I think he won't be as great in this league for the fact that he's not super fast. He's just kind of not generic, but pretty average. But his height really helped him in college because he did face a lot of people who were a little bit smaller than him. Now the flight, they select I think they were going to pick a quarterback, but since they got Geiger in free agency, they select center Owen Spencer to help out that flight offensive line. Again, I don't think this guy's going to be anything super special, but he is a very... he's still an upgrade to this center, who they had one of the worst centers in the league last year. And now the Hawks select again. And they pick up Stanley Hale at wide receiver. He's not super fast, but he is very tall, very big for wide receiver, and he can burn people deep if he really wanted to. He's really good at using his body to get up and catch balls like insanely well. Now here we go, one of our rivals, the Walleyes, who their quarterback went up to a silver. His throw power is insane. They select tackle Jim Spence. He was really good in college, not as great as Normandy, and I think the Walleyes really wanted Normandy to fall to them, but they couldn't get him. But they get his successor in Jim Spence at tackle. So their team is looking stacked right now. Next to the Firebirds, you see they still have Neve Watts at quarterback. He had a slightly better season than he did with the Wolves, and they select another tackle, Jax Howe, who his pass blocking is decent. He's an amazing tackle, but the problem is he is very big, but he lacks some athleticism when it comes to speed and such. But he's a really good run blocker, which I think is exactly what this Firebirds team needs if Neve Watts is going to run to the left side. If Neve Watts is going to run to the left side, he's going to need someone who holds down the fort. Now the Dragons, they select next after having a down season. They've made some upgrades, and they pick up guard Spencer Patel, who again was slightly above average in college. I think he's going to move to this league very well. His problem is, again, he's not a freak. He's not amazing at anything. He's just average at most. He's very balanced. But he's still an upgrade on this horrible Dragons line that has gone to crap, I think, even since the first year, because in the first season they were supposed to be championship contenders, and they have fallen to mediocrity. Now the Hogs are next. This may be one of the few last years they can get out of Warren Tanka at quarterback, so they're going to need to probably upgrade this defense, and they do. They select Jose Pruitt. He's, again, a definite upgrade to this team, but he isn't anything too amazing. He's more of a faster version of Bryce Holton, if anything, but that's still an upgrade for this awful Hogs defense. Here we go. The Bullheads, the best offensive mind in the league with the best offensive players, get a new player on defense. Wesley Gonzalez. DN, 6'6", 302 pounds. He is absolutely humongous. This D-line just got even better. Now, like I said, the Bullheads have a really bad defense, but their inner core, both their D tackles are absolutely insane, and they get a former D tackle moved to D end, who's an amazing edge rusher. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. And now the Gladiators are next. They barely missed the playoffs, and I think they just need to upgrade small positions here, and they get a new receiving threat in Alexander Zander, or as I'll call him, Alex Zander. He's 6'5", 267 pounds. He's a big tight end for this team, and it's just yet another threat for opposing defenses. This Gladiators offense is literally absolutely insane. It's no cavalry offense, but is it close? Definitely. Now here we are with the Redcoats, one of our former rivals, and they pick up an upgraded middle linebacker in Warren Brennan, 6'2", 250. He's a good run stopper, which for the Blackbirds, the Redcoats, us, the Walleyes, and a lot of teams that the Redcoats do face, even in their own new division, like, running is super important for a lot of these teams. So to get someone who's a really good run stopper is important. Now the Monarchs here are next. They had a great season with Alfred Blackson at quarterback. Can he continue? And they get an upgrade at D-end. Harold Cameron, an edge rusher out of Vanderbilt. He is pretty good as well. He's a little undersized, but for an edge rusher, he is really good. He's above average for sure, and is definitely an upgrade for a team who is very offensive-minded. And now the Wolves select. They pick up Andrew Zempel, DB, out of Montana State, where they picked up Clay Gruen years ago. And as you see, Clay Gruen is gone. He is now with the Revenge to help out their defense. We just kept getting beat over the top, and Montana Young decided that Clay Gruen was not worth it. But now he gets Zempel, a super freak, athletic-wise. His coverage should be a little better. But now here we are with the Griffins, the former team of Chris Young, who now have Jonathan O'Connell pick up a free safety. Hugo Reyes, the son of Emil Reyes, the DB for the medal. The Hugo Reyes is a free safety, 6'1", shows his speed and hip power. He's going to be a huge force in this league if he's anything like his father, which this is going to be very interesting. He's going to be playing probably the last year that his father is going to be playing. Now the Warthogs, they select a quarterback who fell in the draft because of his lack of athleticism, Shelby Woodley Jr. He's from the Discord. He's 6'7", 240 pounds. He's a huge quarterback, but he has a huge mind to fit in that skull. He's going to be an amazing quarterback in this league. His issue, the league is moving to faster quarterbacks, and he's just not that. At least a lot of the better quarterbacks can run. Now the Metal, they have a very decreased team on offense, but they pick up a running back and middle linebacker combination. He can play both positions. His name is Ty Banks. He's also from the Discord. Again, if you want to be in the next draft, put the name in the comments down below. But he is a power back. He's utterly unstoppable. He is beast mode. He's also at middle linebacker. He's an amazing middle linebacker. Again, he's 6'2", and he's absolutely unstoppable on defense too. He's a great tackler. He's good at zone. He is amazing. So he's going to play both sides from the middle. He's the only player in this league that is allowed to do that. The middle are going to be scary to face this season. He's going to be completely unstoppable. The draft is coming to an end soon. The Violence select next. They select a tight end, I think. Yep. Victor Mason, a good run-blocking tight end to help out this explosive running game from Houston Witt. Witt is not even just an explosive running back, he is utterly insane. The former track star himself. And the next, Stallions pick up Theodore Hill at tight end as well to get another threat for Patrick Anderson on this offense. Like I said earlier, the draft is coming to a close here soon. Now the Guardians, they're next. They select defense, who they have one of the best defenses in this league already. They select Alfredo Hagen, a linebacker who is very tall and athletic, but I don't think he's going to pan out well in this league. Next is the Cavalry, who won the championship here. They pick up another threat for this offense, Calvin Ware, who somehow dropped to the end of the draft. Oh my goodness, Calvin Ware with wow. What a pick for the Cavalry. A explosive, dynamic, insane offense just became even more dynamic. I don't know how they're going to keep this going. I don't know how other teams are going to be able to stop this Cavalry offense. Thank you guys for watching this off-season video. This Wolves team has made some amazing upgrades over the off-season, and I think even next off-season they're going to make even more. I'll see you guys next time with the first game of the season. See you guys then.